Well, of course, I have to start at probably the most basic, most fundamental, most important philosophical question that has ever been asked in the history of human thought. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why is there something rather than nothing? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why does anything at all exist? I mean, it could just as easily have been the case that nothing existed, right? Okay, given that we know something exists, what is the ultimate nature and origin of this something? Was there always something, or was there once nothing? Hasn't this question already been answered by modern science? After all, the Standard Model, better known as the Big Bang, states that the universe, that is, time, space, matter, and energy, began at a fixed point 13.8 billion years ago at the singularity. So what was before the Big Bang? Well, it doesn't even seem like appropriate language, does it? I mean, if the Big Bang was the first point in time, how can there be a point before the Big Bang? And if the Big Bang was the first point at which matter and energy existed, where did these come from? Did they come from nothing? Well, the Big Bang does seem to kind of point towards that, doesn't it? But can something really come from nothing? Or is it the case that something exists beyond space, matter, energy, and time? Let me go over that again. The Big Bang seems to incline us towards the view that either the universe came from nothing, also known as creation ex nihilo, or there is something that exists beyond the universe with different properties. That is to say, something that exists beyond matter, energy, space, and time. Okay, so what about the first possibility? Something coming from nothing. Obviously, you can't get something from nothing. It just makes no sense. If there are no properties to make anything, then nothing can be made. This really seems like one of the most fundamental commitments in metaphysics. From nothing, nothing comes. So that really seems to be off the table to me. Now, there are some people who claim that you can get something from nothing. So just to be clear, what I mean by nothing is the absence of anything. I don't mean things that aren't actually nothing, like quantum vacuums or empty space or other things that act as a proxy for nothing in the minds of certain theoretical physicists. I mean nothing. Nothing doesn't produce anything. So what about the second proposition? Something existing before, or rather outside or beyond the Big Bang. That is, beyond matter, energy, space, and time. Okay, so if this something exists, what is it? Is it just more matter, energy, space, and time? Is it something else, like our universe, that obeys the laws of physics? Well, if it's something physical, like space-time, it seems to me that we have a problem. If something physical caused the universe, then it seems to me that that cause had to have a cause for its own existence, and then that cause had to have a cause for its existence, and you get where I'm going. This is what's known as an infinite regress, continually tracing back through cause after cause without ever having a first cause. The problem with infinity is that it's not something that can actually exist in physical reality. Infinity is little more than an abstract idea in maths. While there can be potential infinites, for example, an infinite loop in a computer program, actual infinites cannot play out in reality. Or at least when we try to conceive of actual infinites, it just leads to absurdities that don't seem to have much of a solution. The simplest infinity paradox that I can think of would be related to time. Earlier I said that time, at least from our perspective, began at a fixed point at the beginning of the universe, the Big Bang. But couldn't there have been time before the Big Bang? Couldn't it stretch out infinitely in the past? In physics, time can be defined as a dimension based on which the evolution of any system takes place. If time were infinite, then there would have been an infinite amount of time before I got to now, meaning I could never actually get to now. Yeah, there's more like that, but maybe I'll leave those for another video. Let's just say that actual infinities, at least in a world that obeys the known laws of physics, are a really big problem. All of this seems to lead to what sounds like a weird but unavoidable conclusion. If nothing physical can come out of nothing, then for there to be something physical, it must have a cause that in some sense transcends the physical in a way that allows that cause to be infinite. That is to say, that cause is free from the constraints and absurdities that we find in our observations of finite physical reality. I realise that seems a little vague, but we don't really have a lot of options here. We can't have something from nothing, and we can't have an infinite something in the sense that we understand things. So for the existence of physical reality as we know it to make any kind of sense, there must be something that exists beyond what we think of as physical reality. To put this another way, since the world of physical reality is made of what philosophers call contingent things, that is, things that are contingent on other things for their existence, and this physical reality cannot have an infinite regress of contingent causes, then there must be what philosophers call an uncaused cause, or a necessarily existing thing, which is by definition infinite, but also transcendent of our physical reality. Philosophers often refer to this thing as a prime mover. That is, something which itself has not been moved into existence by anything else. The prime mover is, for all intents and purposes, what I'm calling God.